Hello, teachers. Welcome. Now, as we are beginning the second term in the school year, we have still yet many things to learn. And of course, last term we would have done some sort of online assessment, but there are still some of us who still need to tighten up on how we do our online assessment. A little birdie told me that the students are having a little problem and they think that we can add something more to the way we assess them online. So in this session, we will be exploring different ways to assess our students online to include games and interactive PowerPoints, escape rooms, and so on. So let's dive right in. Before we get into it, let us start with an icebreaker. Now, this icebreaker has to do with fractions.
Grumpy's favorite game is hide and seek. He is hiding at a fractional distance between the beginning and the end of the fence. When Grumpy hides, Grandma will tell you the total number of equally spaced positions along the fence. The number of equally spaced positions is the denominator of the fractional distance. The denominator will tell you the size of the spaces. The higher the denominator, the smaller the spaces. Grumpy will hide at the end of a space, and you are to determine the number of spaces Grumpy traveled along the fence. All right, so I'll press the start button here to begin, and you'll see Grumpy. So this is Grumpy, and you'll see him as he hides along the fence. So I'm going to start. Grandma says to watch carefully as he hides. She says that there are 4 equally spaced positions along the fence. Grumpy is at one of the positions. Can you find him?
Is at the 3/4.
All right, so your numerator would be 3. All right, so let's check that out. Click on OK. You are correct. The numerator is 3. You found Grumpy. So let's try a new example.
All right.
All right, so there are 7 equally spaced positions along the fence. Grumpy is at one of the positions. Can you find him?
This is a bit tricky. Is at I would say that fraction would be a whole 7/7 or 6/7.
So you want to try 6?
6/7.
So let's type in on numerator 6 and select OK. Awesome. The numerator 6 is correct. You found Grumpy. So we're going to do one more example. You are doing great so far. You did 2 correct ones in 2 attempts. So let us try a new example. Watch carefully as Grumpy hides. There are 7 equally spaced positions along the fence. Grumpy is at one of the positions. Can you find him?
2/7.
All right, so let's try the numerator 2. Awesome, you are so good at this. So yes, he was hiding at 2/7 along the fence. Great job.
Awesome! You did great. Congratulations. So the objectives for this session are to develop a table of specification, to create a traditional test online, understanding the term gamification, to gamify the mathematics classroom using the interactive PowerPoint, and also an escape room. So first, we're going to develop the table of specification and a traditional test to match it. So normally at end of term, end of year, or end of unit, we normally administer to our students a traditional test. This is usually a pen and paper test. But now that we are online, things have gotten a little different. And so we need to explore how we can develop these things online and also to administer them online. And we are going to start by using the Google Forms. First, we need to know what is the TOS. Now, the TOS is the table of specifications, and it's a tool used to ensure that a test or assessment measures the content and thinking skills that the test intends to measure. Many times, we will prepare our assessment instruments and the items are not adequately matching the objectives. That is a problem. And so the table of specification will help us to organize the objectives, decode our objectives the proper way, and match it to the items that we will be giving to our students. Also, many times too, when we look at the items that we have on our test instrument, you realize that they are mainly low-level items. And you don't want to be testing your students on so many low-level items when they need to do a standardized test with, a mixture of low-level and high-level items. So the table of specification here will help us to organize. So we have similar amount of low-level items as well as higher-level items. Let us talk about what a traditional test is. Now, a traditional test refers to a written test such as multiple choice, matching, true, false, fill in the blank, etc. The assessment or test assumes that all students should learn the same thing and relies on rote memorization of facts, similar to the pen and paper test that we give our students at the end of a unit, at the end of the term, at the end of the year. All right, so that is exactly what our traditional test is really about. So let us get right into the calculations on the TOS and also how we can organize the TOS. So we're going to start with this table. In this table, we're going to have the instructional objectives. We're going to have the time spent on the topic written in minutes. We're going to have the percent of class time spent on the topic, number of test items, and for this, you as the teacher can select the number of test items you wish to use. So I wish to assess my students using 5 items. So I have 5 here. We have lower levels, and the lower levels are remembering and understanding. The higher levels are applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Now, for your levels, you can use the OK 1, 2, 3, however you wish to describe or define your different levels of thinking that the students will need to achieve or you're testing for in this test. So the objectives that I will be assessing my students on are solve up to 2-step word problems involving addition and subtraction, read and write numbers in numerals and in words, and use expanded notation up to 4-digit numbers. So I'll be using 3 objectives. Let us move on over to the time spent on the topic. Now, this means the number of minutes you spent teaching this particular objective. So for this objective, I spent 30 minutes. For the second objective, I spent 15 minutes. For the third objectives, I spent 30 minutes. And for this column here, you want to find the sum of all the minutes spent on the objectives. And this will be 75 minutes. So 30 plus 15, 45 plus 30, 75. So we have 75 minutes in total here. Let us talk about how to calculate the percent of class time spent on the objective. So this is how we calculate the percentage of class time spent on the objective or the topic. So we're going to use this formula. time spent on objective divided by total time multiplied by 100. So the time spent on the objective is 30 minutes and the total time is 75 minutes. When we find the quotient here, we'll multiply that by 100 and that will give us 40%. So 40% of time is spent on this particular objective. Now that we have worked this out, we would come up with 40% of class time spent on this objective. So now I'm going to give you a chance to work out the percent of class time spent on the second objective and also the third objective. All right, so in our calculation, we would come up with 20% of class time spent on the second objective and 40% of class time spent on the third objective. In this here, we must ensure that the percentage when sum gives us 100%. So let's move on now to the number of test items. I know that this is always a little difficult. It's always a little problem to decide how many test items I must put on this objective or use to assess this objective or so on. So this is how we're going to solve it. All right, so let us work it out. This is how we calculate the number of items on each objective. So we're going to use this formula. Percentage of time spent on the objective multiplied by the total number of items. So here we have 40% of time spent on a particular objective and we'll multiply that by 5 and that will give us 2 items. Now that we have calculated how to decide the number of items on each objective, for the first objective we will have 2 items. I will now give you a chance, teachers, to work out the second and the third objective. All right, so for the second objective, we have 1 item, and for the third, we have 2 items. And remember, we said we want to do 5 items on this test. So at the bottom here, we must ensure that all these are added up to 5. Let us move on to the column where the levels are. Now you can decide how many lower level items you want and how many higher level items that you want. In so doing, you will always place them here. So for the first objective, I want a lower level item testing the objective, and it will be a multiple choice. So I have 1 multiple choice. For that same objective, I will also have a higher level item, and it will be in the form of a short answer, and I will just place it right here in the higher level column. For the second objective, I wish to assess it using 1 short answer, because remember, it's only 1 item I need here. And for the third objective, I'm going to use a lower level multiple choice question and also a higher level short answer question. At the end, we must ensure that the number of lower level items and the number of higher level items gives a total of 5. So we have 2 lower level items and 3 higher level items, and 2 plus 3 gives us 5. So yes, we have 5 items. So let us start to develop our traditional test based on the table of specification that we just created. From the table of specification, we had agreed on having 5 test items, 2 multiple choice and 3 short answers. So our multiple choice questions will be these right here. And our short answer will be these 3 items here. So now that we have looked through and we know that yes, our items are matching the objectives adequately, we are now going to proceed in creating our test using Google Form.
When you're doing your traditional test, you're creating a traditional test online, you have to make sure you go into Google Form. Like you can use other softwares, other apps, but I want to show you how to do it on Google Forms. So ensure you select on assessment, because with assessment, it gives you the option to put in this different points for each question and so on. So I'm going to click on assessment. And if this will be, say, your end of term test, so we're going to use the items from that we talked about with the table of specification. So we're going to say this is our end of term test. So we're going to name it end of term test here also. All right, so in this little part here, you might want to delete that and perhaps say to the students, there are 2 sections in this test. Multiple choice or single response and short answer. So you can write whatever you normally put at the top of your test whenever you're creating your test instruments. So you want the students to enter their names. So this part here is good. And if you notice, we have it at required and it has no points. We don't need any points for them to put their name in. But it's a requirement because they don't want the student to complete the test and submit and you don't know who submitted this test. So you can decide whether or not you want them to put their email address there. But whatever you do up at this section, ensure it's required and it has no points attached to it. Also, the name should be in short answer as well as the email. This is so that students can type in whatever it is their name is or their email address is. They won't be selecting from a list of names or email addresses. So it won't be multiple choice nor drop down. All right, so you have quiz questions here. You might want to type in multiple choice here, or you might just say section 1. Or you might just write multiple choice. Yeah, just write multiple choice. All right, so I'm going to write there are 2 items in this section and 4 options for each. Select one answer or one option that best matches your answer, or something of the sort. All right, so our first question, we have our first question. So I'm just going to go back to our PowerPoint and copy our first question. So I'm going to highlight it, copy, come back to the form and paste it there. All right, it's a multiple choice, so ensure it's on multiple choice. We're going to go back for the 4 options that we have, and we don't need to copy them individually. We can copy them all, go back to the form, go to the first option and paste, and all the answers will come. So I'm just going to close off all these unnecessary answers here. All right, so now that we have done all of this, we don't want this to be required, because if the student does not want to answer this question, we might not want to have it required. Because if we gave them a pen and paper test, sometimes they send it back with some unanswered parts, right? So we don't want to say, okay, it must be a requirement. So we're going to not make it required here. All right, so the answer key here, click on the answer key and we select how many points we want for each of our multiple choice items. So for this item, we want 1 point. And let us look at the question here. The answer is B. So we're going to select B, and you'll see a little tick come to the side here. That means when the student does it, then it will mark it automatically. And after all of this is done, you click on done. All right, so I'm going to move on now to our next question. And even though we have second question here, if it is that you are writing many questions and you only see second and the third question and you want to add another question, you select here on your right, add question. This is the plus here, add question, and you will have it there. So let's go back to our questions here and we get question number 2. Let's copy it and paste it here. It's a multiple choice, not required. Just go back for the alternatives. And remember, when you're doing your multiple choice items, we don't want to have some with 3 alternatives, some with 4. Let's copy this. If it's 3 we use 3 for all the items. If it is 4, we use 4. So let's paste it here. And we're going to select answer key so that we can select the number of points for this item. And like the first multiple choice, this should be 1 point also. So say, for example, I'm not sure what the correct answer is because I didn't work it out before. Madison is reading a book that has 232 pages in it. She read 42 pages over the weekend. Then she read 30 more on Monday night. How many does Madison have left to read? So 42, 72. From this, I think that might be 160 pages. So this is the correct answer, and I'm going to select that. All right, and then I'm going to select done. All right, so now since we only wanted 2 multiple choice items, now we're going to go to our short answer section. And we're going to click on this part on the right that says add a section. And the section will appear here. So it says untitled section. So we want to title this short answer. Short answers. And then we can perhaps write, there are 3 items, show all working. Because usually in the short answer section, we want to see what the students did, because we're not only giving points for the correct answer, but we're also giving points for the process. All right, so here we're going to have our question and we're going to change it. It's a checkbox, and we're going to change this to short answer. Let's go for our item. And also note that, let me just copy this. Note that I am continuing with the numbering, and that's how we really do tests. We continue with the numbering. We don't start to number, we don't put new numbers for section 2. We continue from section 1. So I'm going to paste the question here, and this will be where they put their answer. Now I'm going to ensure it is not required. So if they answer, and if it's there or not. All right. So also for this one here, because we want to see the working for our students, we're going to go here for short answer and we're going to go to file upload. So we want the students, where is it? All right, continue. All right, so we want the student to be able to do their work in their books or on a sheet of paper, take a picture of it and upload it to this test so that we can mark based on how they had worked it out. So if they're using a cell phone to do their test or a tablet, it would be very easy to do that, because once they take a picture of it, it will be on the same device. However, if they're using a laptop or a desktop computer to do it and they take the picture with a separate device, they will either have to send it by Bluetooth or use a device to transfer the image or email or so. All right, so now that we have selected mobile file upload, we're going to allow only specific file types. I don't want to do that because we don't know what devices they're using, so we don't want it to be limited. So it says maximum number of files 1. So if it's a long question, you might want to put 2 here or 5 or so, 10, 1, 5 or 10. So because I know that this can be answered on one page, I'm just going to do one file upload, because we don't want to have a lot of uploads either and overload the system, because down here it says that the form can accept up to 1 gig of files. That's a lot, yes, but we still don't want to do that. So maximum file size, I like to leave it at 10 megabytes. That's a good size. And then this will be our the way they're uploading their answers. So of course it doesn't have to be like this. Normally before I start to explore the file upload option, I used to ask my students to take a picture of it and send it to my WhatsApp or send it to my email. But file upload makes it much easier. Everything is in one place. So if you need to go back and look at the question again, you'd realize that yes, this is how each student answered. So we're going to go to answer key. And a question like this, I might want to give it 3 points, and then select done. All right, so for the next question, remember we have 3 short answer questions. So let me go and find the question here. This question has more parts. So it says, who is correct? Explain your answer. So I'm going to copy that, go back to my form, and right up here, where we had this part, I'm just going to add another question here that asks, who is correct? And it's going to be a short answer question, so the students will just need to type who is correct. So I'm just going to have a short answer. And let me give it a point. So I might want to give this 1 point. Done. And I will go here to response validation. And I can always type in the answer here based on what is happening. So it says, who is correct? So I look to see if it's Cody or Jane. And say, for example, Jane was correct, then I can click on this arrow beside number, select text, contain, and I can put Jane here. So, and that will be it. So we're finished here. All right, it also asks another question. So I'm going to add question again. Let me paste it here. It says to explain your answer. So I want this to be a long answer. So I'll select paragraph. It's already selected for me. So this would be a long answer, and I might want to give this, say, 3 points. And then select done, not required. And we might not want to use response validation here because we still have to read it over manually to see if it is a suitable answer. But if we do select response validation, and we select text or regular expression or whatever, then we will write some things that we want the answer to contain. All right, so this says maximum count, character count, minimum character count. You can select that and put the number that you want here. So I don't want to do anything to this. I want my students to be able to write their answer and then I read it manually and respond. Of course, we wanted it to be a little easier, but for some short answer items, it's best if we read them manually and give a point. All right, so we have another question. Let's go. Number 4. So I'm just going to copy. All right, let's go back to the form. All right, so right here, I'm going to change the short answer. Let me put my question here. All right, so that's the question. Liam was saving for a pair of shoes. He saved $3,210 in March and so in 9. All right, so delete this part. Good. All right, so the question asks, how much did the pair of shoes cost? So it's a short answer question. Ensure it's not required. Decide the points here. Let me give it 3 points. And I want this to be where students work out their question and show their working. So I'm going to select file upload. And I'm going to double check, allow only specific file types, no one number of file, maximum file size 10 megabytes, and so on. So that is set. So now I can go to the other part of my question. I'm going to select add question. The other part of my question reads, Use base 10 blocks to justify your answer. So this is not, I'm just going to copy that. This is not just words. This is also like a representation. So I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to change this to short answer. And my students can respond right here, or when I select file upload, they can respond on that document below. So I'm just going to give them the option to just write their response on that same sheet of paper or in that book and take a picture of that also. For the points here, I will want to give this, say, 3 points, and done. So we have one more question now for our form, and this is our final question. All right, so I've copied it and I'm back. Now for this one, of course, I can go to response. I can, oh, this one is a file upload. Sorry about that. So if it were short answer, I can always go to response validation and type in some keywords that must be in the answer to make it correct. So I'm going to add a new question for our final question here, and I'm going to paste it. And remember, this is one for file upload, so they'll have to work on this and then send their answers in. So here we have all the options selected here. One, number of file maximum, file size 10 megabytes, and so on, and it's not required. So we're going to insert the points. So we want, give this one 3 points also, and then select done. So now our test is completed. This part here, we don't need it, so we click on it and we go to this trash can here that asks us if we want to delete, and we click on it, delete. For the last one, we don't want it either, so we click on the trash can, delete. And this will be the end of our test. Now, with this test, remember, we must share this test. So we're going to share this test in our Google Classroom or in emails, or even in a link, using a link while we're teaching them on Google Meet or on Zoom. So what we need to do, we need to click on this eye to the top right hand corner of the page that says preview, and it will give us a link that says view form. So we're going to copy this link, and then we're going to go into our Google Classroom. So let me go here, go into Google Apps, Classroom. All right, so then you can select your classroom and you can add it as classwork. So you can go create, and you can do assignment, and I might want to call this end of term test, and I might want to put some instructions, and then I go to add link. I'll paste the link I copied here, add link, and then to my right it says assign. So here, do I want to post it to all my students or just post it to my grade 5 students, or so do I want it to be ungraded or 100 points? That is also there too. I'm going to leave it at 100 points. Do I want a due date? Perhaps I want them to complete it today, because if it's a test, you don't want to give them time to go and do some studying before they can answer. So you might want to give it a due date. So you click on that drop down arrow, and let's select a due date. Yes, I'll select this one. All right, so let's select 27. Right. All right, no topic. This is where you go and select the grade that you want to post it to. So say I want to post this to grade 7. I'm going to select there, and then I'm going to assign. And so my grade 7 students can see that test posted. All right, so that is how we create our traditional test using Google Form and posting it in our Google Classroom.
All right, so enough about the traditional test. We want to know how to gamify the mathematics classroom. We want to know how to apply game elements to our regular assessments so that our students can find it more interactive, more engaging, and even, a lot more fun. So, what are games? Games are collaborative or competitive activities played according to a set of rules. Games usually have an end goal or win state. So usually when we're playing games, we're either playing to win or we're competing against other persons. For example, when I play Candy Crush on my device, I am competing against all those other persons on Facebook that are also playing Candy Crush. So yes, and I'm also looking at the highest points, and I'm trying to beat that, most times. So it is usually a game like that. Or say, for example, you're playing a game on your PS4, a football game, for example, and you'll be playing to win here. You want to score more goals, you want your team to win. So these are little things about games. Gamification in education. Well, in short, gamification is the application of game playing elements to an activity like a quiz or even the same traditional test. According to Deterding et al. 2011, gamification in education refers to the integration of principles and elements of games into non-game activities to engage students, motivate actions, to promote learning, and solve problems. But why do we need to use games in the math classroom? Well, for one, it encourages strategic thinking. It encourages problem solving. It develops fluency. It also encourages the 4 C's. Do we know what those are? Yes, collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. And of course, games benefit us in many different ways, not just these. But in everything, there are always disadvantages. And so, some drawbacks of using games in our mathematics classroom include it takes a lot of time to develop. Sometimes we need to think about our objective. We think about the different activities we're going to use in this particular game to meet the objective. So it takes a lot of time to develop, a lot of time to think about, say, for example, a theme or so. Also, students might overindulge, and so lesson content might not get covered. And this is true. A colleague of mine was telling me about students doing a little quiz and they found it, boring because there's no fun to it and so on, just them answering questions and so on. And she decided that she is going to use word wall to gamify that activity. When she did that, she told me that her students have been playing the game over and over and over and over again. They play late at night, early in the morning before classes begin, they're playing the games. So while it is fun, sometimes they are overindulging. Sometimes too in class, because the students are enjoying the game so much, you find that they are focusing mainly on the game effects and not what is to be learned. So they might spend more time in class doing the game, or you might spend more time with them doing the game, and then the lesson content that you want to deliver today might not be fully covered. Creating an interactive PowerPoint. This is something that we can always do. It's easy. It is time consuming sometimes, but say for example we had a quiz, or say we had some questions, or at the end of a session we want to see how much our students have learned, or even at the beginning we want to recap what they would have done in the previous lesson. We could create an interactive PowerPoint. So with the interactive PowerPoint though, you can add some game effects to it. So if you wish to add some music, some suspense sounds, some congratulation sounds, applause, and those things, you can feel free to make it, make it personal to your students and your classroom. So for your interactive PowerPoint, students will love this. And I'm telling you, because I've used it in some of my classes, especially in my earlier days. Well, right now, I am not using it so much, but with the whole virtual teaching and learning, I have to be going back to these interactive PowerPoints. So let us explore and see how we can create interactive PowerPoints for our mathematics and even other disciplines for our classrooms in general.
Okay, so these are some steps that we can take in creating interactive PowerPoints. So first we need to go to the blank PowerPoint and we'll need a cover slide. So I downloaded my pictures from Google that I will need ahead of time so that I don't have to be searching while creating my interactive PowerPoint. So what I did also was to download some audios. So I downloaded some sound effects for incorrect answers and correct answers. And I also downloaded my pictures that I'm going to use in this interactive PowerPoint. Also, what I did too was create my items, my questions, and the options so that while I'm creating my interactive PowerPoint, I don't need to be thinking about those questions. So I have these questions already made up. Also, if it is that you wish to use some test items from before or some quiz items, you can go right ahead and do that. All right, so here I am on my cover slide, and I'm just going to simply insert picture from this device, and note you can also insert it from online, but I download them ahead of time, so I'm going to insert it from this device. And it will be a end of term quiz. And so I'll just drag this to the corners of my page, but at the side here, there are some options. So I'm going to select this one. All right, so now I need a second slide to start my questions on. So here I'm on my second slide, and I am going to type my question in. So I'm just going to remove these text boxes, especially the one at the bottom, because I won't need it. So I'm going to go to my questions, and my first question is this. I'm going to copy, go back to my PowerPoint, and then I'm going to paste. So you can decide your font size and the style. I'm going to go with I like Bookman style. So I'm going to type that in. Book Antica, right? And then I'm going to make it bigger. And then I leave it here. Then I want a picture here too, because this item here, it goes along with a picture. So I'm going to insert the picture, which I already downloaded to my device. So I click on insert, go to pictures, this device, and I'm going to select the picture. So here's the picture. Let me make it a little bigger, and I put it to this side. Also, remember these are single select questions, multiple choice kind of questions where you're going to select an answer. So I have my answer already. I'm going to insert a text box. Let me make it a little bigger. And this will be answer A. All right, so let me just duplicate this by selecting Control and then D on my computer. That makes other copies of it. So I need 3 options because these will have 3 answers. So I'm going to change in the second one B, and the third one C. All right, then I'm going to go to the options here. For A, this is my answer. I'm just going to copy, Control C, or right click on the copy after highlighting. Then we go back to the PowerPoint, and in A, we're going to just paste. And there it is. So we're going to go and get our other answers. So let's get for B. Copy, go back to our PowerPoint, paste, go back for C, copy, back to our PowerPoint, and paste. All right, so I want to make these a little bigger, so I'm just going to make them bigger by selecting the text box and I'll go to here at the top here with this A where I can increase font size, and then I'm going to make them bigger. All right, so there it is. All right, so I might want to change the font style too. So I'm going to change it to something else. You can do it however you want to play around with it. You can do it however you think your students will like. For me, I like variation. So I might want to do this. Right, so let's go. All right, so I know I changed these things to A, B, and C, but they're now back. So I'm just going to change them again. All right, so I have my three options here. And I already would know which one is the correct one and which ones are the incorrect ones. So from here, I need to do another slide. So I'm going to get a new slide, and this new slide will have the answers. So for A, if A is the correct answer, which it is not, A is the incorrect answer. And so on this slide that follow, it is going to have a picture that shows that it is incorrect. So I'm going to delete these text boxes, and then I go to insert. I'll go to pictures. And as I said before, all my pictures were downloaded before this on my device. So I'll select this device, and this is the picture that I want to use to represent that it is wrong. So it's a whoops, wrong answer, try again. Also for this, I want that when my students are taken to this page, they also hear a sound effect that says that it's incorrect. So I'm going to click on this picture. I'm going to go to insert, and that sound effect was already downloaded to my device. So I found it on YouTube, and then I downloaded it. So here I'm going to select the picture, then insert, and all the way over here to my right, I see audio, and I'm going to click on the drop down arrow, which asks me whether audio is on my PC or I'm going to record, and it's already on my PC. So I'll select that, and it's going to take me here to the downloaded sound effect. So this one is the wrong one. So I'm going to select it, and here it is in the middle. I just want to drag it to one side. All right, so I've dragged it to one side. But also, when the students come on this page and they hear that it is the wrong answer sound effect, and they see that it's incorrect, they want to go back to try the question again. So there are two ways we can do this. We can select insert, the drop down arrow at shapes, and we can use action buttons. Click on this one that says action button blank, so you can customize it, and it will have a plus sign like this, and you just click wherever you want it. Hold the edge so you can drag this out. So it says hyperlink to. You click on that part, so it's highlighted, and it says next slide. Click the drop down arrow, and you can select previous slide, first slide, whichever. So I want to click on slide, because if it is that we edit this, we want it to go to that particular slide. So I'm going to select, it has slide 1, then it has the slide 2 with Sam's Patty Shop, and slide 3, which I am on. So I'm going to select slide 2 and then OK. Again, I'm going to also select OK, and I'm going to ensure I adjust this. It will be a little square. That is one way of doing it. So let's try it with this one way here. And inside, I'm going to type try again. That will prompt the students to click on it. So I'm going to, perhaps I should have a click here to try again. Click here to try again. All right. So I'll have it like this. So the students will click there when they want to try again. All right. So let us try this out. So we're going to go to slideshow here. And current slide. All right, so we did not set up the audio. So you realize that we're on the slide, and as the students get on the slide, they won't immediately hear the sound effect. So what we need to do is we need to click on this sound here, and then we go to animations. Click on animation pane. And here you will see the sound effect to your right. So you're going to click on this drop down arrow, and it's on start on click, but you don't want it on that. You want it start with previous. So as the students go on it, they will hear the effect. So let us try it again. So we go to slideshow, current slide. Awesome. So you would have heard the sound effect as we go on the page. And remember, it's wrong, so we need to go and try again. So this little part here that says click here to try again, I'll just click on it, and it will take me back to where the question is. All right. So remember now, we did not link this question to that slide. So I'm going to click on the text box with the wrong answer, and then I'm going to insert link, and here it says existing file or web page, place in this document, and we're going to select place in this document, and we're going to go to the slide. So the slide would be number 3. So it's slide 3, and I'm going to click on slide 3. You will see a little preview of the slide here to ensure that you're selecting the right one, and then you click on OK. So let us try it here to see if that works. So here on slideshow, we're going to start from current slide. So as soon as I've read the question, or the student reads the question, they can click the first answer. And yes, it took them to this part, to this slide, which says it's a wrong answer, and they would hear this sound effect. I'm going to go back, so I'm going to click here to try again, and here I am back on the question to try again. All right, so let me get back from here now, and we're going to create our 4th slide, which will have the correct answer this time, because the second answer is the B is the correct answer. So we're going to have this here, and let's go to insert so I can get that picture that I downloaded previously. Click on pictures, this device, and I would have selected my picture, and click on the picture. I'm going to insert audio. So go to audio here, over to your right. I'm going to click audio on my PC, and I'll click on the one that I want. Then I'll drag it here. Remember, we need to animate, so we're going to click on animations. Ensure that we have selected the audio down here. We click on animations, animation pane, and go to the drop down arrow and select start with previous. Now, also remember that we need to put an action button here so that this can take us to the next question. So what I'm going to do is I will first have to go and I'll have to have my 5th slide with the other incorrect answer, and then my 6th slide, which would be the new question. So because wrong answer is A and also C, I'm just going to duplicate this slide here. So I'll click on the slide over here on the left, then I'll click on Control and then D, and then I will get a copy of that slide. And I'm going to just hold on to it and use my other finger to drag it to the 5th position. So it will be here. So as soon as the student selects C, it will also bring them here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also get a new slide, which will have my second question on it. All right, so let me just copy that question and put on it. Let's go back here, because remember, I have all my questions already written. Let's copy this, go back to our slide, and paste it here. Let me just adjust the size and use my preferred font style. All right. So let us go back to this one now. So I can use the action button to send me right to that sixth slide. So another way we could do this, I showed you one, we could insert a shape. So I'm going to insert a shape here. I select the star and I'm going to just maximize it. So in this star, I'm going to write go to next question. All right, so I'll make this smaller so it can hold in the star. And I'm going to make my star a little bigger. All right, so there it is. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on this shape that says go to question. And then I'm going to insert. Then I go to link. And the slides will be here. So remember now, the next question is at slide 6. I'm going to scroll down until I see slide 6. And it is here, and it gives me a preview of what the question is. I'll click on it, and the preview of the slide again will come up here to the right, and I'll select OK. And that means this here would be hyperlinked to that slide. So we also need to ensure that all these 3 items are linked to the slides that they should be linked to. So B is the correct answer. So I'm going to click on that text box. I'm going to select link. The slides will be here, and I'm going to hyperlink this to slide 4. So I'm going to select slide 4. A preview will come up as usual, and then I select OK. And that would have been hyperlinked. I'm also going to go to C. And when I click on the text box, I go to insert. Then I go to link. And this should be hyperlinked to slide 5. So I'm going to go to slide 5 here. And of course, you don't have to have 2 of the same slide. But if it is that you're putting something on each of the slides that will help the students to answer, then you would need 1 slide for each option. So we could have had only 2 slides here, since we only have a wrong slide and a right slide. So we could only have that. So I'm going to select OK here, and all of these will be hyperlinked to the particular slide, and the slide is going to take us back to the question if it's incorrect, but tell us to go to the next question if it's correct. So let us go on this slide here now. So I'm going to delete this text box. I have a picture for this too, so I'm going to go to insert, then pictures, then this device, and I'm going to select the picture that I have. And I move it to the corner here. And remember that the options, I need to insert the options in separate text boxes. So I'm going to go to insert, text box, and then I click on the screen for the text box to appear. Make it a little bigger, and I'm going to type in A in this one. Again, I'm going to click on the text box and click on Control D from my keyboard to duplicate it and make a third. So I'm going to put in each of these A, B, and C. All right, so let's go back to our question so we can find the options. Let me just scroll down. And the first answer is Saturday, then Sunday, then Wednesday. So I'm just going to type in the others since I know which one it is. So the first answer is Saturday, then Sunday, then Wednesday. All right, so what I want to do, I want to make these bigger. So I'm going to click on one, holding onto the control button, click on all 3. Then I go up here, touch this big A that says increase font size to make them bigger. Also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the font style for all 3 of them at the same time to Arial rounded. I like that one, so I'm just going to do that. Now I'm back on it. I'm just going to make it a little wider, especially for the ones that are not holding comfortably in their text box. All right, so we already have our wrong and right answer slides. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select the wrong answer one. So I'm going to either Control C, then I go to the end, and then I Control V and paste. And then I can go to the congratulations one. I can either Control D to duplicate and then drag it to it. So it's up to you which one you prefer. All right, so the correct answer here will be in the month of, if the month of below is August, what day will September begin on? So the correct answer is Saturday. So we're going to link Saturday by clicking on the text box to the correct slide. So click on the text box where Saturday is, go to insert, go to link, and you're going to scroll down to slide 8. That is where the correct answer is. So you click on slide 8 here and okay. So on slide 8, remember that this hyperlink here goes to the slide number 6, which is the next question here. So what you will need to do here, you need to delete this and insert a new shape or insert a new action button to take you to what where the other question will be. All right, so let's go back. Sunday will be an incorrect answer. So we're going to click on the text box, click on insert up top, click on link, and let it go straight to slide 7. Select OK. All right, same here. So we're going to get another duplicate slide 7. So we have one for the other incorrect answer. All right, so remember now, this action button here, this was linked. This was to go back to slide number 2. So we're going to delete this. And of course, we could use this by saying, go back to previous slide. But I want us to do it like this because, you know, sometimes we want to have the action button sending us different places. So I'm just going to insert, go to the drop down arrow at shapes, click on that little part that says blank, click on a spot on the screen. It's on none, so we're going to select hyperlink to, and then we're going to go to the drop down arrow that tells us where we want it to go. So if it's wrong and we want it to go back to the slide that we're coming from, we can say last slide viewed. So we can try that one out. Or we could have said slide 6. So we're going to say last slide viewed and select OK. All right, let us drag this now and type in it. Click here to try again. All right, so let's make it a little bigger so everything can hold good. All right, so we'd have hyperlinked this back to this. So let's go to this final slide here again, and we're going to delete what we have here, and we're going to do a new one. So we'll go to insert, because remember, this one would not send us back to slide 6. So we're going to go to insert, we're going to go to shapes, go here to the blank, we click on the screen somewhere, it's at none, so we select hyperlink to, go to the drop down arrow here beside next slide, and we can hyperlink to last slide viewed, or we can hyperlink it to slide 6, but I'll select last slide viewed so we can explore different ways here. So I'll select that and then OK. Then I'm going to drag this and type in it, click here to try again. All right, so that's what we would have done now. Say, for example, we wanted to use our 2 slides here. So we're going to use only 2 questions, but of course they're going to add more to yours. But I'm just going to use 2 questions for demonstration purposes. So as soon as they would have gotten this answer correct, that's the last answer, we want to take them to the final page. So we don't have our final page yet, so I'm just going to put a new slide and insert that picture I want to use at the end. So I might want to use, let's see. Let's see if we have a picture here. All right, so I don't have a picture here. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to go to my Bitmoji and select something. So I'm going to select here and so let me select this one that says logging off, or let me find something that says the end. The end. All right, so I'll find something that says the end, and I'll just right click on it, copy image, come back to the PowerPoint, paste it here. Good. So I might want to use this for my end picture. And that will be it. Now we need to hyperlink this last congratulations slide to the end. So we're going to insert, let us insert a shape. Let's use a star. And in the star, we might want to type the end. All right, so let's type the end in the star. And of course, you can change your star color. Here we have shape fill. You can change to anything you want. Blue, whatever. All right, so now that we have our shape here, we're going to insert, go to link. Then we have place in this document, and we're going to scroll down to find the final slide, which is slide 10. Select that. A preview will come as usual. Select OK, and there we go. So let us now try out what we did. So let's start from the beginning. So slideshow from beginning, and I'm going to start. So here is our first one. Let me select incorrect answer. No. All right. All right. So we're at the next question. Let us try the first answer. Awesome. So now we're at that and it says the end. We click on that and it comes to this page. So of course you can always insert an audio for this one too, like a nice congratulations song or something. So that is how we create our interactive PowerPoints using Microsoft PowerPoint. This can also be done using Google Slides. So similar features there will help you to create an interactive PowerPoint like this one. So I hope you enjoyed this.
Yes, we have done much about creating our interactive PowerPoints, and now we want to explore another way of gamifying our mathematics classroom. So we have escape rooms. It is new to some, but some would have heard about it, but I know that many of us have not really explored how to create an escape room. And so what I'm going to do is we are going to work on creating our own escape room. An escape room is very useful. We create a storyline, a quest, something we can use a little. Our students, they love to watch these kind of cartoons, or there might be a trending animated movie that they're watching. So we can always use a storyline from those things. We use those characters and it will, interest them. They would want to play. So say for example, my baby, he loves to play he loves to watch PJ Masks. He loves to watch Mickey Mouse, Dave and Ava because he's just 3. He loves to watch many of these things. And I know that the little ones in grade 3, 4, they like this Justice League. Oh yes, I really don't know all of them. But they like all of those kind of things. And you can always get ideas from all of that. Using those as a storyline can entice your students, and what you'll just need to do is just add the math to it. So while they're moving from one level to the next, they have to pass a math problem so that they can, proceed to the next level. So let us have some fun creating escape rooms. I must tell you though that escape rooms might take some time to prepare, but with practice, you can always, make it a little easier over time. And also too, for the little ones like grades 1, 2, and 3, we don't have to have a long escape room. And also, to make your escape room fun, we need to make it time bound. Our students love that. So they know that they're fighting against this particular time. They have 15 minutes to escape this room, or they have 15 minutes to find the doggy, or they have, half hour to do this, or, 45 minutes to do that. So they really enjoy time bound games too. It makes them anxious and so on. So let us explore how to create escape rooms.
So when we're creating escape rooms, we're going to go into Google Apps, select slides, and select blank slide. So we want to select this blank slide because we need a space that our students will always go back to for clues. So basically what we're doing here, we're creating the room. So I would have known the theme I wanted for this escape room. And so I would have searched Google and downloaded the background, the characters, the different things I want to click on that will take me to a hint or a clue. So usually if it is that you want to get your pictures straight from here from the net, you will just go to insert, image, and then search the web. So I didn't want to go through that. I prefer to search for my pictures first, have my theme in mind and everything before I start to create my escape room. So I found some lovely pictures that will match my theme, and I downloaded and saved to my computer, and now I just need to upload them from my computer. So I'm going to select upload from computer, and it will take me to where I have saved those pictures. All right, so I created a folder with the different pictures in it so it's easy to find. So here's my background. I'm going to select and I'm going to drag it across the screen so that it covers the slide completely. And I'm going to go real slow so that you can create even your escape room, while I'm doing mine. So here is my background. And the theme I want is where, our students or the little ones, they like to watch animated movies or cartoons or those kind of things. And so I see my 3-year-old always watching Paw Patrol. And him watching it all the time and I'm there even listening to it, I would have picked up on some scenes that I would want to, use as an escape room. So I'm thinking here where there's a lady called Mayor Goodway. And Mayor Goodway, she has a hen named Chicoletta. So the theme is where the story behind this escape room is where Chicoletta is sick and Mayor Goodway needs to get some pills for her. So there are some things that I want to put in this background that will just sell that story. So first I need to get Mayor Goodway. So I'm going to go to insert, go to image and upload from my computer. And this is what Mayor Goodway looks like. So I'm going to just adjust the size and put her somewhere here in the room. All right. So there are some other things I want. I want like a backpack in that seat, in the chair right there. So I'm going to get a backpack. And I'm going to move it to the chair. And of course, you can always find your own background or you can make your own background. All right, so that's a backpack in the chair because this backpack will become relevant in the storyline. Also, I have a grandfather clock. So insert my grandfather clock and I'm going to move it right here beside the door. Let me get it a little smaller. All right. I also have some spilt pills. And I'm just going to adjust the size so things can look proportional. And I want those pills to be on the floor. I also have a cell phone. And you want to make sure that these things that you have, you would have selected transparent background. So there's a little way that you can do this to select the transparent background. Let me just show that to you real quick here. So say, for example, I went on Google here and I'm typing in flowers image. So I would select images. And when you have selected that, there's a part here that says tools. You click on tools, you go to color, and you select transparent. So whichever one you select, so if I select this, they normally have this kind of checkers background here, and I can always right click, copy this image, go back to my PowerPoint, and paste it here. So you realize that I can move it around. It has no white background or any kind of background. So that is how you get your image transparent. Once you go on Google and you find the images, then you go to tools, then color, and you select transparent. All right. All right. So I also have, so we're going back to this. I also have a little keypad here at the door. That is what Mayor Goodway will need when she's going out based on the storyline. So I'm going to insert this, adjust the size again, and put it where I want to put it. So I want to put it right here on the wall. But if you look, you realize that the wall and the keypad kind of have a similar color. So I want to give it a border. So I'm going to use border with 3, and I'm going to use white for my border color so that it's easily seen there. All right, so now I would have created my escape room. And now that I've created my escape room, there are some things that we need to put in it also. So for example, we need a timer. We need a timer, and we need somewhere where the students need to click on this so that they can start the game. So let us go on YouTube, and I would have started to type in 30-minute timer with alarm so that at the end, when the 30 minutes has ended, the students can hear the alarm to say that yes, the 30 minutes are up. So here I would have typed it in, and I've selected this one. So I'm going to copy the URL, go back to my slides, and I am going to paste it here, but I'm going to insert it as a video. So I click on video, and I'm going to paste the URL here, search, select the video that is here, and click on select, and it will appear here on my screen. I'm going to adjust it and just put it at the corner of my room here. The students, when they come back to this room, each time they can see how many time is left. At the same time, when it counts down and reach to the end, you'll hear the alarm. So over here where you have their format options, it asks you if you want it to play on click, or play automatically, or play manually. You want it to play automatically so that as soon as the students come to this page, they're already trying to work in the time, because the time will start to count down as soon as they come to this escape space. So I'm going to click play automatically. All right, so that would be that there. So now we need to find the little part that says play or click here that the students will need to click on so that they can start the game. So I'm just going to insert a shape. I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm going to select an arrow. Click on the screen here, and within the arrow, I'm going to type click here, or click here to begin. All right, let me just extend this so all the words can hold comfortably. I can make it a little fatter or so. All right, let me center this so it looks nice. All right, so I want to change my font color. I'm going to change it to red, and I'm also going to make it bold, and I'm going to change the shape color, the color of the text box or the shape that I've inserted. So I think it's this one, fill color right here, and I want to change it to yellow. That should be, you know, very obvious for the students to see when they're about to start. So I'm just going to click on it and move it to the bottom here of the page. So yeah, they can see it right there and start, or I can bring it up. You know, you can put it wherever you want. Maybe it would look nicer right here. All right. So now that we have this here, we must link this arrow here to where the game really is. So what we need to do now, we need to go over to Google Forms. That is where our game and the activities and everything will be. However, the reason we have all of these things, the grandfather clock, this password here at the door, the knapsack, the phone, spilled pills, it's because we want, when our students get to a question and they haven't answered correctly, there will be a hint that tells them that they have to come back to the room here and they click on a particular item so they can get, you know, a riddle, a clue, or whatever to help them to pass that particular level. So here now we're going to leave this here. In fact, let us name it, and I want to name this Paw Patrol Mayor Goodway Trapped, or Mayor Goodway Escape. Something of the sort, anything you want to name it. But I want to have Paw Patrol on it because I'm going to use the characters in Paw Patrol. That is always nice to use too, because even with the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 students, if you use like an animated movie or a cartoon that they all like, it might, you know, it might encourage them or motivate them or spark their interest. So now that we have created this space here, we need to go and create the activity. So what I would have done, because I thought about my storyline, what I did, I created my story here. So this is my story. I created my story with all the questions and answers and the different levels, because I don't want, when I'm creating my form, I don't know where I'm going. So I created my little story here. All right, so now we're going to go back and we're going to go to the Google Apps and we're going to select Forms. So let's do a blank form. And we want to use the same title as before. So we're going to type in Paw Patrol Mayor Goodway Escape. All right, so click here and it will appear. All right, so you want a description because you want, when your students are about to read, they have an idea of what it will be like. So I have written my description ahead of time. So let me tell you what my description is. So I have Chicoletta. Mayor Goodway's pet hen is sick, and so Mayor Goodway needs to get some special kind of pills to make her better. She went to the doctor's office, but the doctor was not there, so she let herself in so that she can fetch the pills for Chicoletta. After searching, Mayor Goodway finally found the pills, and as she was about to take out two of them, she heard a loud bang, which startled her, causing her to drop the bottle of pills. Immediately, the door slammed shut. So right away here, you realize that there's something going on. So this is my storyline. I'm just going to copy it from here. And then I'm going to put it in my form. So where you type the title up here, there's a part that says form description. you'll just type your little storyline there. And what I find is also fun too is to insert even a little trailer. So if it is that you use, say, something from Paw Patrol, you can get a trailer that might be matching to what you're doing, so the students can have a feeling, of what this escape room will be about. So I will go here to my right and I'll select add video, and here you can find it on YouTube. So already on YouTube, I searched previously and I found this 40-second trailer. You don't want to be too long, so I found this 40-second trailer, and I'm now going to copy the URL, and I'm going to go back to my form, and where I selected add video and it brings me to YouTube here, I'm just going to paste my URL and then search. And here it is, that same 40-second, it's showing 41 seconds here, but it's the same one. You click on it and then you click select, and it will appear here as a video. Now, it says untitled video. You might want to say Paw Patrol trailer or anything you want to name it as. So that is what I might want to name mine as, and I can drag it to get it a little bigger or not. So I'm just going to drag it a little so it's a little, students can watch it here and it doesn't look too small. So here we have our storyline and we're coming down. So here we have the untitled question, and we're going to use up this option here. So for the untitled question, I want to let students select their theme here of colors or so on. So I have a little thing here that says, pretend that you are Ryder, and Ryder, if you watch Paw Patrol, you know that Ryder is the one that is in charge of all the pups. So it says, pretend that you are Ryder and she needs to call you so that you can send backup. Select a color for your team below. So this will be my statement. Let me just copy this, go back to the form, and that will be my untitled question. So let me paste it here. And there are some options. So in my options now, I want to have all these colors. So since I already typed them out, you can always type them here, but I typed them out already so that this can be quick for me. I'm just going to copy them and I'm going to go back and paste them here. So now that I've pasted them here, what I need to do is I go up here where you have multiple choice and I can select which one I want. So here we have multiple choice. You can select any one of them. However, what will happen is that you're not going to you're not going to give it any points, because when you're using Google Form, if you're writing an assessment, it gives you points, but you're just going to let them select a color that represents their team and ensure to select required, because at the end of the game, end of this whole escapade, you need to know which teams are being selected, or which teams have won or gone to the end before the 30 minutes and so on. So of course, this can be something where you have competition. So it could be where you have your class in, say, let me see, 6 different groups, and you give them each a color name, and you have, it's like a race. All of them are competing against each other to end the game, to reach the end of the game in 30 minutes. So this is the first part of it. And as soon as you have done all of this, you're going to select add section. So all of the everything won't be here because all the different questions must be in a different section. So we're going to select add section and scroll down here. This is a new section. So of course, again, as I said, I laid out my story here. We're going to go straight to it. For that new section, I have a little, say, sentence or two that is, keeping the theme going. So this part says, Mayor Goodway sees a phone on the table and need to unlock it so that she can call Ryder to tell him that she's stuck in the doctor's office and needs to escape before he gets back. So help her to crack the code. All right, so you need this little information here because it's like you're telling the story, so you kind of want this little information to keep the students on their toes. The different things in the escape room there in the office, they are all important, and the storyline helps to make them relevant. So I'm just going to copy that part and I'm going to put it here that says untitled section. So I'm going to put in a description, and I can give this section name, say for example, let me see, I didn't think about that before, but we could give this crack the code, or you can call it the cell phone, something, right? So let's call it the cell phone. So right here where she has the cell phone now, we're going to add a question. So this plus part here allows us to add a question. So we click on that, and then we go back and we find what this is asking. So it says no, only 3 odd numbers are needed to unlock me. Type them in and see. So this is actually the clue, or this is something that they need to consider when they're thinking about the answer. So let me just go back and paste it right here. And I don't want the options to be multiple choice. And it is very good to know that it's best not to have multiple choice, but ensure that they're short answer questions or items. So I'm going to select short answer because what I want is for them to type in the answer. And also remember to check required. Everything must be required, because if you can't pass this section, you can't go to the next section. So here we have selected this, and we are going to put in the answer. So the question I have here that I want them to answer. So when they write, they come here and they try to answer this. They'll realize that if it says only 3 odd numbers are needed to unlock me, type them in and see, then they can simply guess any 3 odd numbers. But most likely they will be incorrect because they did not use a clue to solve it. And the concept that my students I'll be assessing my students with in this escape room is elapsed time. So I would have written my questions here. So the first question would be, Kathy wants to know what time she will leave out for school if she wakes up at 5:15 a.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get ready. So that is the int. That is what they have to work out so that they can get the answer to pass that level. So let me just copy it right now. So what we're going to use here is we're going to use an additional Google app. We're going to use the Google Docs. So all your different questions and ints, you're going to put them on a Google Doc. So this is the Google Doc, and I'm going to name this Google Doc. So I'm going to select a blank one. And I am going to name this Google Doc the cell phone because that's the section I'm at. So I'm going to call it the cell phone. All right. And then I'm going to paste my question here. No, you don't really have to use this. What you could do, you could use WordWall, or you could use Padlet, or you could use anything that you want, any fancy thing you want. But whatever you use, then you will need to ensure that you have the link. So since I'm working here, there's a URL here. If I use something like Padlet or so on, then I put my question there, there's also a link that I will put in the form for students that I'll attach, in fact, to the escape room so my students can get the link to go to where the question is. So this item could be on Padlet or anywhere else and not really Google Docs, but I prefer to use Google Docs so I have all my documents, one place. So it says Kathy wants to know what time she will leave out for school if she wakes up at 5 a.m. and it takes 40 minutes to get ready. This page just look so, don't it? In Jamaica terms, we say it looks so. So we kind of want to put a little picture on it. So let us go to Google here, and I'm going to type in girl waking up. Image. And you can type in anything you want there. You could have typed in a clock if you wish, but I want to type girl waking up. Image. Then I want to ensure it is transparent. So I'm going to select tools, color, transparent. And I can select any one of these. So there's an alarm clock here, this one here, and you can just select any one of them. All right, so I'm just going to select let me select this one. All right, so let me copy, go back to the document, leave some space in the middle, and paste it there. All right, so I can either put my picture first or my question, however I want it. So I think I want to put my picture first. All right, so I'm gonna have my picture at the top, and then the item at the bottom. Good. So there it is, and of course you can just make it however you want it. So this is what your students will have to solve before they can find. So we would have worked this out already and know the answer. And so the answer, I'm going to go back to the form and I'm going to ensure I put the answer in. All right, so you'll select, let me go back there. All right, so in order to insert your answer, you're going to select response validation. And that will help you to select whether you want it to be words. So I'm going to select on number, and I want my answer to be with a number or text or so on. So I'm going to use number. All right. So after working that out, I know what the answer is going to be. So it says greater than, equal to, and I'm going to click on is number, and then I'm going to type in my answer. So the answer is actually 555. So if they worked it out correctly, that is the answer that they would get. 5:55 a.m. But remember, we just want the code. We just want the 3 digits. So we just want 555. As well as we could have selected text and let them write in everything. But I want to select 555, and that is the correct answer. Ensure I select required, so the student cannot pass that level without getting the 555 correct. And it's always good to just have something simple, because this is really, if you have a capital letter instead of a common letter, then this child will not get it correct. So it's case sensitive. So it's always easy to just have something simple there. All right, so now we have finished this section. We're going to add section to go to the next part. So the next part of the story here, let me go back to my story, is where, all right, so it says, great, she cracked the code. So now she can call Ryder and ask for help. Mayor Goodway needs to gather the pills and take just the ones Chicoletta needs. All the pills are numbered from 19 to 67, but she does not know which ones she must take. Ryder asked Chase on the case to her to help her figure it out. All right. So Chase on the case, I missed a word here, to help her figure it out. Good. So we need to copy and paste this little part here that is containing the storyline. Go back to our form, and we're going to add it here in description. All right. So here we're going to type in pills. So we are able to identify that. All right. So we type in pills here, and we're going to add a question so that we can insert the question that is to be answered. So let's go back to the story. And the question is, which 2 pills must she take? Copy that. Back to the form and paste. All right. So remember, we always want these to be short answer. And we always need to check required, so that students must pass one level before they reach to the next. Then response validation to put in the correct answer. Because I had worked it out already, I'm just going to put in the correct answer here. So the question would have been, Cody's mom instructed him to clean his room before dinner. He started to pack up his toys at 4:14 p.m. and finished at 4:46 p.m. How many minutes did he take? So that is the question. So I'm going to copy the question. And I'm going to go back to Google, and I'm going to go to Google Apps and open a new Google Doc. So this one will be labeled the pills. So get a blank one. And remember, you don't have to use Google Docs. You just need to use something that you can get a link to add to the space. All right, so I'm going to label this one, not the pills, but pills, right? So I'm going to label that one pills, and I'm going to paste the question here. So it says, Cody's mom instructed him to clean his room before dinner. He started to pack up his toys. All right, so we might need to get a picture that is showing boy tidying room. All right, so let us go to tools and the transparent to get a transparent one. All right, so let us see. All right, let us take this one. All right, so this one has a transparent background, as you can see, with the checkers at the back. But even though sometimes it has this thing at the back and it's not transparent, but this one looks like it's transparent, so we're going to try it out. All right, so yeah, I want my picture before, so I'm going to paste my picture here, adjust the size, of course, and yes, it has a transparent background. All right, and I'm going to put my picture in the center, and then the question will come next. So this will be the other link. All right, so let us go back to our form, and we're going to put our answer in. So the answer is, hold on, it says how much. All right, so we're going to go back. Let us see what the answer is when we work out that problem. All right, 32 minutes. So what I'm going to do is go back to the form, and for my answer will be a number. So I will let it stay on number, and I'm going to go to is number. Is number means it must be that number. All right, so my answer would be 32. There we go. So that would have been that section now. So I'm going to go right ahead to continue my storyline by adding a section. And also I should tell you that even though we have these things here, we can always put the questions here, a picture to represent the questions here. So if we click on this, we can always add an image, and we go and we find even that same image that is on the Word document with the question. We can even have this picture here to make it a little fancy, for our students. All right, so let me just go to the other section here. All right, let's go to the storyline. What's next? All right, so Cody decided to take a rest. Okay, so the question is not finished. So the answer is really, so 32 is one of the numbers and 21 is. So the second question is, Cody decided to take a rest. Let me copy this part. And went back to his chore at 5:07 p.m. How long did he rest for? So I'm just going to go back here, go to the Word document with not the pills. Yes, was it the pills? Yes, the pills. And I'm going to give some space here, and I'm going to paste this other new question. So remember, it's two pills that Mayor Goodway need to select. So this first question here will have her decide which number, and then the other one will let her decide which number. So let us go back to our form, because it's not just our answer. So I'm going to have 32. So I'm going to change from number and write text. And it says contains and we want it to contain everything that we have here. So we're going to write the text now. I'm going to write 32 and 21. Those are the numbers. And remember, it is always required. And that would be it. All right. So if it is though that when they type in their number in their answer, it wasn't correct, then you can give them a hint. So the hint can be up the spilled pills in the office for a clue. All right. So that's a hint. So when they type in any two numbers here and got it incorrect, they will get this part that tells them, prompts them to go back to the office and tap on the pills, so it will take them to that question that will help them to find it. So let us go back up and ensure we have one for each of them. All right, so we're going to have to change these then to text. All right, 555. All right, so we can tell them now, go back to the office and tap the cell phone. So that will give them a hint. So tap the cell phone for a clue. All right, so that will tell them that they need to go back and get the clue. All right, so let us continue. So this third section is, let's go back to our storyline. How long have I been trapped? The mayor wondered. I will check the old grandfather clock to help me. All right, let me copy that. Now this section here, we're going to insert it here, paste it here. I'm going to name this the old grandfather clock. All right. All right, so let us add a question here. Add question. Let's go back to the question. All right. So it is now 3:30 on the clock. If Mayor Goodway was trapped at 3:09, how long has she been in the office for? Ryder asked Rubble on the double to help her to figure it out. So we just want that part here to go on a separate Google Doc. All right, so now I'm going to go back and we're going to go to Google Apps and I'm going to select Docs, blank document, and then I'm going to paste. All right, so we want to name this the old grandfather clock. All right, so we might want a picture here for the old grandfather clock, right? So maybe we can get another grandfather clock, or we could just insert the one that we have already saved. So I'm just going to insert the one that we have saved. All right, so here's grandfather clock. And I think I'm going to put this word in a text box so that I don't have to, so they're beside each other. All right, so I'm going to insert. All right, let me get a shape. Let's see, insert shape. All right, so I'm not seeing insert shape, so perhaps we'll just leave it here in the meantime. All right, so we'll have this right here, and we can always wrap text too. So say that's the old grandfather clock, and that's the question for it. So after this question, we'll go right back to the form. Let's get the question here. All right, so I'm not seeing a question here, so I guess that was the question that I need to answer. All right, so the answer is 21 minutes. So let us go back to check it out. All right, so let us click on required, change this to short answer. All right, so I need to think of a question that I need to write here. All right. How long was the mayor trapped? Good. So now with the short answer, we're going to go to response validation. And we're going to change from number to text. And what did we say? 21 minutes? Let me go check. 21 minutes. All right, so that will be our answer. So I'm going to type in here 21 minutes. Then I'm going to have a custom error text. If they insert the incorrect answer first, then this text will direct them to where they need to get a clue or something to help them to solve. So what can we have here? Can say go back to the office and click on the old grandfather clock for a hint. All right, good. So we have that there. So we are finished with this section. So we're going to go to the other section. We're going to click on add section here. All right, so let's check our storyline again. And it says she needs to give the pills to Chicoletta at 4 o'clock or she will get a fever. Mayor Goodway now realizes that she also needs a thermometer to check Chicoletta's temperature when she gets back to her. They must be in the backpack on the chair. But oh no, the bag has a coded padlock. Help her to solve this problem so that she can open the bag. So this is another part of the story. And I'm going to copy and paste that part. Let me go back to the form and I'll paste it here in the description. All right, so we're going to call here the backpack. All right, and then going to add question. Get our question from here. What time is it? Let's go back to the form and paste our question. What time is it? I'm going to change this to short answer. Select required. And let's see what the question is. So let's go back to our storyline. And it says Roger is an athlete. While exercising, he jogged for 38 minutes. If he started at 1:17 p.m., what time did he end? So we're going to copy that. And we're going to go to a new Google Doc and insert that question. All right, so let's get a blank one. I always want a little picture for the page not to be so bare. So I'm just going to go to Google here and I'm going to type in boy jogging. The boy jogging image. Then I'm going to go to tools, transparent, and select one of these. So I'm going to select this one. All right. Paste it here. All right, so I might want to crop this so we don't have all those things in it. All right, crop. And then I'm going to put in the center. And in the next line, I'm going to have my question. Ooh, forgot. All right, so let me go back and copy, because since I copied this here and then I copied something after, I would have lost this. This would not be the first thing on the clipboard. So let me go back and then I'm going to paste it here. All right, so that would be the question. And when the students answer this, they'll need to come back to the form and put their answer in. So let me check to see what the answer is. So the answer is 1:55 p.m. Right? All right, so we said short answer required is selected. Then we go to response validation, change this to text, and then we write our answer here. 1:55 p.m. Note though that if the students don't put a space between the last 5 and p.m., it will show that they're incorrect. So they have to try the different ways of writing it so that they can get it correct. And also I might take out that space in between, and then they did not write their answer with the space, and so without the space, and so they'll get it correct. But I leave it without the space. All right, so if they get the first go incorrect, then I will let this custom error text send them back to the office so that it can lead them to a clue or a hint. So I'm going to have here, all right, this is a backpack, so go back to the office and tap the backpack for a hint. All right, and there we go. All right, let us see if our story has ended. Can't, because remember, your story must end when Mayor Goodway has escaped. So now it says, now that the mayor has all she needs, she's trying to leave the office and need to find out the password to open the door. She calls Ryder for help. Ryder sent Marshall, and Marshall's catchphrase is ready for a roof rescue. So our students will know these things, so it's nice to even drop that little hint or that little catchphrase in the middle of it there. So this is following up on the story. So let me copy that. All right, and I'm going to, all right, so insert new section, scroll down, go to description, and this is where they're going to use the password. So I'm going to type here, unlock the door. All right, so then I'm going to add a question. Always remember to change it to a short answer question. And the question is, select required, and the question is, let's go back to our storyline. It says, use the digits from the time taken to unlock the door. All right, so that is what they're asking of us. So let's go back to the form, paste that here. All right, so let's go back to see. All right, so it says now there are many things I need to do before bedtime. I will start as soon as I get home at 3 o'clock. So she's gonna take 18 minutes to feed the cats, 30 minutes to do her homework, 25 minutes to eat dinner. How long did it take? Did it take to get the activities completed? So we need to copy this and open a new Google Doc to put that question on. All right, so let us go here. Doc, blank doc. And we're going to name this unlock the door. All right, so we're gonna paste this here, the question. All right, so the different things here, what we can do is we can have a picture here feeding the cats. I'm going to find a picture to match that. So I'm going to write feeding the cats image. All right, so let's go to tools because we want a transparent background. Color, transparent. All right, let's get any picture with them feeding the cats. All right, so let's take this one, or perhaps this one. Let's see. All right, so this one is good. Copy image, go back to the document, and let's paste it there. So 80 minutes to feed the cat. Let us adjust the size, make that a little smaller, and put it in the middle. Oh, it looks better right there. So let's leave it there. All right, then she took 30 minutes to do homework. So let's go back again, find a picture. Doing homework, image. Let's go to tools, color, transparent. And let's find something. All right, so let's see this one to see if it's transparent. All right, it's transparent. So I'm going to just copy, go back to the document, ensure we're inserting this picture after do my homework. Let me adjust the size here. All right, then next it says eat dinner. So we're going to go again and find the eat dinner image. Or an eating image. So we go to tools and then yes, transparent. And we find something. So which one must we select? Let's just take this one. All right, so let me copy. Paste, adjust the size so it's not too big, take up all the space. And then the final question says, how long did it take to get the activities completed? So now you will need to work out all of these things. All right, so the question, the answer for the question is here. All right, so it says 1 hour and 13 minutes. So it says to use the digits from the time taken to unlock the door. So the digits are 113, 1 hour and 13 minutes. After doing all the calculation, 113 would be the answer. So let's go back to the form, click on response validation. All right, leave it at number and type in 113. Custom error text would be, go back to the office and select the keypad by the door for a clue. All right, so there we go. And we would have completed really, because this would be the last question that the child will need to answer. All right, so now we would have created a storyline here. We could have a final slide that says, so let's add section and could say you made it. Then the section could say you have escaped the doctor's office successfully with check letters fields. And that would be the end of it. All right, so this would be your escape room activity. So we have our escape room space here. We have all the Google Docs. So in order to ensure that everything is here, we need to go back to the form. We click on this eye over here that says preview. And this would be the new URL. So we're going to copy the URL, go back to the space, click on the arrow here, ensure the arrow is highlighted, just the arrow, and you're going to go to link and you're going to paste the link. Then you click on apply. Now that we have done that, we're going to go to present to check it out. So we want to ensure that our form is successfully linked to our escape room. So I'm going to click here. And yes, it brought us straight to the form with all the questions. But note, we cannot pass here because we have to select the team we're on before we can go to the next section. All right. So let me just close this. All right. And note also, see our timer start the countdown as soon as we're on this page. So that is what we want. So let me escape and come out of here. All right. So now we're going to link all these things here to the room. So we have, this is the cell phone. So we're going to link this to the cell phone. So let's just copy the link. Go back to the space. And we have the cell phone here. We'll go to link to insert the link. Paste the link. And we're going to change edit to view and apply. All right, so this is telling me that I am the owner, and because I am the owner, I cannot open it in a view mode. So when I'm starting to play this game, then I'll let it open in my other, one of my other email addresses, and then I'll see the game itself. All right, so it won't really happen from here because I have made the game using this particular email address. So I am always going to be the owner, the editor, and I can do everything to it. So it will not come up for me as a view mode. So I'm just going to link the other things. So we link the cell phone already. So here we're going to link the pills. So I'm going to copy here again, copy the URL, go back to the space, and we're going to click on the pills. Go to link, insert link here, or we can go to insert and then link. And then we're going to paste the link in that space, delete out the word edit, which is at the end, and type in view, V-I-E-W, and apply. All right, so let us go to the other thing now. So we have the old grandfather clock. Let us copy this URL, go back to the space, click on the grandfather clock, insert link. So we're going to paste the link in the space, delete out edit, just edit, and type in view, V-I-E-W, and apply. And we're changing edit to view because when our students are doing it, you don't want them to be able to change up what is on the page. So they can't change up these questions because they're only able to just view and answer their questions. So we have done the grandfather clock. So we now have, we did not name this one. Let's see. All right, so we did not name this one. All right, good. So we're going to copy this URL up here, go back to our escape room, and we're going to click on the backpack, go to insert link, paste our link, delete edit, and type in view, V-I-E-W, and apply. All right. So we have one thing to link here, and that is the key pad for the door. So we're going to copy this URL, go back, click on the picture, insert link, paste, delete edit, type in view, and apply. And we are basically finished. So now we need to share this game with our students. How do we do that? Now, you want to start your game from here. So when your students join the game, when they click on the link to join the game, the first thing that they should see is this page. However, they won't see all these words here. They just see this slide taking up all the page. So what we're going to do here, we're going to copy this link and we're going to go in the classroom. So let me go in the classroom. Google Apps. And of course, you don't have to always, post it in a classroom. You could post it while you are in your Zoom class or your Google Meet class, or you could post it in the WhatsApp group that you have with them. You could post it anywhere because wherever they find the link, they can start the game. So I'm going to click on the Google Classroom and I might want to post it in the stream. So I have the link and I'm going to invite the students. So I have all students. I'm going to invite my students to play this game. So I'm going to say, hello guys. Try out this escape room and help the mayor escape. All right, then I'm going to click on add, click on link. The link will come up and I'm going to paste the link here. However, where we have edit here, I'm going to delete edit and you're going to type in present, Present, and then add link. So as you can see straight away, you see the escape room right here, and then I'm going to click on post. What I'm going to do is I am going to post the link down below in the comment section and you and your students can try it out. All right, so remember the topic that we explored was elapsed time. That's a topic that is done sometimes in grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, but at different levels, whether they're doing it on the hour or half hour intervals or so. So for all the grades, all grade levels, this is very important to think about. You think about your objective, you think about the activities you want your students to be doing, and come up with your storyline. Remember, students love a good quest. They love a good storyline. So come up with something that they would have been doing. They've been watching this kind of show and so on. So this would be a good way to assess students at the end of a lesson, or assess them before, not assess, but recap what you would have done in the previous day's lesson. And also, if it is that you really wanted your students to do a quiz or even a little test or something, this is a nice way of putting the questions together. However you want to do it, ensure that you're gamifying it, putting in some elements that would have the students being excited about it. All right, please, when you actually explore your escape room or creating your escape room, please feel free to leave your link in the comment section so that I can check it out. Everyone loves a good escape room.
Thank you, colleagues, for sticking with me to the end. Now that we're at the end of the presentation, I want for you to evaluate my performance. In order to do this, you'll take out your phone or your tablet, go into the camera, and hover it over this QR code. So you should be seeing this QR code on the face of the camera. When you're looking at the camera on your phone, you should be seeing the QR code. Some device will ask for you to just tap to take you to the form, and some it will just take you to the form when you hover it over this QR code. The evaluation has 45 short questions, and many of them, I think 3 or so of them, the answers are there and you just need to select them. So it has a rating scale and you just select the one that you believe is best. There is also a little part at the bottom that you can write your own comment in addition to selecting those options at the top. All right, so again, I want to thank you so much for sticking with me, so much for participating and everything. And as always, I want for you to type below in the comment section something, another presentation that you would like to see next. All right, so until next time, please take care.